In this video, we're going to show how STK sensor coverage can be exported to KML by using a free sample HTML utility that we developed. Additionally, we'll take a look at the code behind the utility to show how STK's API was used to access our data providers to author the content. We're going to start with an STK scenario designed to plan a UAV surveillance and reconnaissance mission over the Persian Gulf. I'm going to turn off the body mask here and animate the scenario. And you can see the 3D model of a Predator UAV with a variety of systems displayed in STK's native display environment. The sensor represents the field of view of the Predator's EO/IR sensor, and the coverage definition below the UAV shows the total amount of time the sensor is over a geographic area. The dynamic data display attached to the UAV here shows the latitude, longitude, and altitude for the UAV, and this pulsing sensor represents the direction of communication to a ground control station. The yellow lines extending from the top of the UAV are line-of-sight calculations to an Iridium satellite constellation. And finally, the vectors on the UAV represent the location of the GPS satellites used for the navigation solution and the direction to a friendly carrier battle group. As you can see in this 3D view, STK also provides visualization capabilities critical to the design, analysis, and simulation of aerospace systems, some of which may translate to virtual globes. In order to share the sensor coverage data generated by STK through KML-compliant virtual globes, we're going to use a sample HTML utility that you can find on AGI's website. We first open up an HTML window by clicking on View in the main toolbar, and then HTML Viewer in the window panel that opens up. Next, we click on the Browse icon to open the HTML utility that we previously downloaded from our website. With the utility open, simply browse to the location you want to save the file, open the coverage definition object that you would like to export, and click the checkbox to write the file out. You can now export this KML file into any KML-compliant virtual globe like Google Earth, NASA Whirlwind, and ArcGIS Explorer. Here's an example of what the KML file of the coverage definition looks like in Google Earth. Beyond simply visualizing the coverage definition, you can also control-click on one of the grid points to show the metadata associated with the calculation at each geographic location. Virtual globes can be a great mechanism for building a mashup from disparate data sources. Like the sensor coverage definition shown here, STK provides a means of delivering high-fidelity, historical, real-time, and predictive aerospace system data into virtual globes. The sample HTML utility used to export coverage data to KML takes advantage of STK's object model and API. As you can see in this snapshot from the utility, the code accesses STK's data providers for an array of data containing latitude, longitude, altitude, figure of merit value, and grid point span. These values can then be parsed for each grid point and formatted into polygon data for KML. If you're interested in additional detail on the operation of this free utility, please visit agi.com/virtualglobes. Beyond simply downloading the utility for use, the source code can also be easily viewed in a text editor to see how the polygons were drawn and the data then written into KML format. Additionally, the website provides links to request a free copy of STK, download a free interactive version of the whole STK scenario, or download some sample KML files from within the webinar resources area.